Hello. Welcome to I'm Not Trying to Kill You. This is our season finale for the Republic, so I'm very excited. I have with me 4 lovely rebels with a cause. With a cause, without a cause, I'm not sure. My name is Ash. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm going to be GMing. And I'll get all my lovely people to do their introductions. Who are you? What are your pronouns? Who's your character? All that jam. Luke.
Hello, I'm Luke. I finally stopped being surprised by
I know.
this. So of course I had to call it out and spoil it.
Yeah.
My pronouns are they, them. I am a game designer. I am the host of a podcast. I am a cast member on many and sundry of Ash's shows. I am also a professional GM for children in my real life. My character is called Carrix, and they are the owner of a soup kitchen in the lower district of the Republic, and they are gonna murder some bad people. Probably.
All right. Okay. I'm keen. Hey, Andrew. Hi.
Hi, I'm Andrew. My pronouns are they, them. I'm a sometimes game designer, oftentimes role player, and I'm playing Pyros, who is a haggard war veteran / sculptor / deep blusher.
Deep in the blushes.
Yeah, right.
I
just
missed
getting
the
right
blushing. Gosh.
and who's next on my list? It is Anya. Hi, Anya.
Hello, I am Anya, or Ketas. I use she, her, or they, them, and yeah, I'm a nerd on the internet.
Yeah, you are.
My character is
A cute nerd.
Risa. They use they, them, and they are also kind of just a nerd without like any real purpose.
Nerd without a purpose, rebel without a cause.
Nerd without
And last but not least, Sean, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thanks, Ash. I'm Sean. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Shadi. She uses she, her pronouns. Shadi sought at the beginning of this endeavor. She wanted nothing more than to gain citizenship, not just being attached to a citizen, but be actually a citizen herself. But I think the more we progress, the less she cares about joining the society that she has been trying to become a part of. The less she cares about it, and the more she's considering that the people around her are her true society, her true family. So we'll see. This is going to be an interesting evening to find out which direction Shadi ends up going as we go to the ball.
Yeah. So one thing we do
I'm
have
very
to do.
excited.
Yeah, I'm super keen. One thing we do have to do first, though, is we need to, at the start of the session, we need to go through. Where is my copy of the latest version of the rules? God damn it, Ash! You're very organized. We need to go over what happened last time and check in and see if we hit any of our triggers. The Republic. There we go. I found the Republic. I found the rules, friends. It's okay.
Hey.
I was so ready to wear. I have a shirt that says Cork Republic on it, which I was going to wear today because it says the Republic on it, which I thought was good branding, and also Cork County is called the Rebel County in Ireland, and so I was like, yeah. And then I cleaned a bunch of rat poop, and as soon as I got home, I could not wait to throw it off of me and throw it in the laundry bin. So it was going to be worn, and then no, I could not wear it any longer.
Yeah,
so.
fair.
On behalf of my relatives, Sean, we see your love of Cork, and we appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
Good. Excellent. All right. So, at the start of each session after the first, go over your safety signs. So, if we are struggling, either use hand up to the camera or the phrase red card or X card to let us know that you're having a time, and we will either skip over it, recontextualize it, or we can like explore it more, but like carefully if that's what you want to do. But is everyone okay with red card, X card, and hand up to the camera?
Absolutely.
Cool. All right. And then recap what happened in the previous episode. And then for each item below, gain 1 dark momentum token if it occurred, or 2 if it happened multiple times. So I'm going to tell us what the things are first so we can listen for them in our recapping. So a player character's marginalization appeared in play. You discovered a new institution or a new way in which an institution oppresses non-citizens. You have shaken or destroyed destroyed or fundamentally changed an institution, or your player character acted because of their calling. So let's see if we can get some new dark tokens. What happened last time?
I was going to break a guy's arm, and then Shoddy had some problems with that. And we had...
That's it. That was the game.
A good conversation about our feelings, and I decided not to.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. There was a little
rather, we had a very big, quite bitter argument, but then we forgave each other, so it's all
yeah.
good.
There was a little lead up to that.
Yeah, there was.
I
thought I just skipped the...
Yeah, to the important parts. There was a citizen who came in, and he was with a woman of a decidedly higher class than he was, and he was trying to impress her by taking her to sort of a I know this
rough and tumble.
Yes, a rough and tumble, a rustic place, and she was not particularly amused with him or impressed by him to begin with, and then we made it way worse.
Yeah. Yep.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, Kita's got her flirt on. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
May or may not have poisoned his drink just a little bit.
What did Rise do to further embarrass this fellow?
Rise, with the help of some sleight of hand watering of drinks, drank him under the table, and then proceeded to walk home with his date.
Yep. Yeah, you did
because that is the appropriate thing to do in that scenario.
Yeah.
Pyros would have been proud.
I think she asked you if you would escort her home, even.
Yes.
Because he caused a scene and he spilled wine on her and it was very improper and he tried to get in a fight and he knocked himself out and a whole bunch of shit happened.
Yeah. I did not put my arm around her and be like, and now we're going.
Yeah.
Right.
Though she probably would have said yes.
He did. There was a particular part that I enjoyed, Ashley, where you described him as trying to sort of manic pixie dream guy her, and that he was trying to. She was obviously of this very important family, and he was of a lower class. Still citizen, but a lower class citizen, and he was trying to sort of show her the magic of if you just go out and have fun, and if you let me make your life better, then you'll be happy.
Theme song, the 2 theme songs for last week's episode were "A Whole New World" from Aladdin and "Uptown Girl" by Billy Joel.
Yes, 100%.
Because it's exactly the same narrative arc.
Yeah. That's what was happening.
Yeah.
And so then we had this drunk, unconscious guy, and the reason we'd done all of this nonsense was because we needed an actual legit citizen's armband to shore up Rice's disguise for the ball that we're all going to be attending. And so we took his armband, and then we got in an argument over how best to cover our tracks and whether or not that involved breaking his arm. And in the end, it didn't. Yep. And so we dropped him off at the hospital.
There was something before we took him to the hospital, though, which is that we discovered he had some scars, and they had...
that thing.
For Carrick's, yeah.
I remember that thing.
Yep.
Yeah. What did you do about that when we discovered it?
Yeah, because, Carrick's home culture, which this guy was also, at a time, his family had been part of, pretty heavy on the corporal punishment for children, and reckon it makes people good. And that was a tradition this young man's family kept when they joined the Republic. And so Carrick's healed this young man's scars from when he was beaten as a kid, because it's not okay. Shouldn't beat your kids unless your character's parents, in which case it was good because it made characters strong.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Which is a sad thing that I said.
There was some
everyone upset.
sad toxic behavior there that was internalized. Yeah, and it was evident that this guy had been beaten a lot more savagely than Carrick's had. Like that this and also beaten even more recently, like up until like probably not just recently, but like up until later in life, like perhaps even approaching adult.
Like until he came of age.
Yeah, rather than as
like that tradition had flourished in the toxic soil of the Republic, as many shitty things do, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we all had dinner, and Pyros was there, and we all got all of our dice back, and it was very nice.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I think what Chad is indicating right now, Ash, is that you need to make the Chorus of Fates have a new option, which is the sad option. And what sad does is it just removes dice from our pools, but like flips tokens.
Yeah,
yeah. When sad is winning, we get tokens. I'm on board with this.
Yeah, right.
So let's go through our little list there of like, did we hit the triggers for dark tokens? Where am I? I'm looking for momentum and rest. So, did a player character's marginalization appear in play once or many times?
Yep. Many times.
Examples include
the interactions at the hospital between Carrick's and the hospital-y people.
I got shittily misgendered, and it was a time.
Yeah,
it was shitty. Yeah.
Yep.
Carrick's and Shadi had major arguments about their particular forms of marginalization and their responses to them, and that in the way that they impacted each of them. And because of that, what they expected to get, like what they really hoped for, because they had been impacted differently and they had came away with it with different perspectives.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Did you discover a new institution or a new way in which an institution oppresses non-citizens?
I think we discovered that these people from Carrick's background beat their children into having having strong character by learning from corporal punishment.
We discovered the restriction on food.
Yeah, we did.
That you can't have food that flowers.
Don't you talk to me about Integravertus and his fucking horse shit.
No onions.
That's actually why Carrick's is gonna murder him.
Right.
Just for that.
Fuck you and your onion laws.
I'm not allowed to have onions. No.
You're not allowed to be alive. Ha!
Yep. Basically
yeah.
There's a little bit more nuance to that motivation.
And it was this bizarre platonic ideal. I mean that, and specifically words chosen intentionally. This platonic ideal that that plants that flower are too graceful and ideal and perfect to be used as food, and so
if the flower has to be destroyed for you to eat it, then no, you can't have it. Yeah. Did we shake and destroy or fundamentally change an institution? We didn't tick any of those boxes. That's okay. And
that's this session.
That's this session. Did we did player characters act because of their callings?
Yes, I did. My calling is healing and comfort should be available for all with no judgment. That's the what I believe part of my calling. And I healed that young man even though I didn't have to.
I love it. That's great.
Well, even though you were also just considering causing him grievous bodily harm.
I mean, look, I'm a complicated character, Sean.
Yeah, no, I'm not challenging it. I'm speaking to the intensity of that. I think that
I'm glad and sad that we didn't go to the most intense, awful version of that scene, which is Carrick's really tenderly heals this boy's scars and then proceeds to break his arm.
Oh my god,
that would have been really messed up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that also in that one, that the entire premise of trying to get this armband helps towards showing that the foundations of the Republic are false.
Yes.
Cool. Excellent. Great. Cool. Well, we have got all our tokens then. Blah, blah, blah. No one achieved their calling. Cool. So, the ball.
Garlic, I just would like to point out to chat, garlic is another plant with a flower that cannot be used. You can't get the bulb without destroying the flower. I can't have garlic either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this
Well, and you can
justifies
make
all
those
of my
tasty
behavior.
things with the garlic stem bits. The like, green-
That's true.
oh, it's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the society is doomed. Also, garlic's really good for you.
This is actually straight up Karen's argument. It's like medicinally, this is a terrible idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
body of the Republic is stagnating. I'm gonna have a metaphor. It's gonna be good.
So,
Over to you.
I think they're scapes. Is that what they're called?
Yeah,
The
garlic scapes.
stalks or scapes? Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know
Anyways.
about plants, so
Here's what's important here.
Put him in an omelet.
Ash, can you change the category of the stream to a cooking and social eating stream? And we're just gonna do this right.
I mean that's my stream all the time, and like doubly when Luke is on. Like,
Yeah, Luke is.
as a
Have a
person
brand.
who's like really bad at food, I'm genuinely surprised at how often food comes up in my channel. Like
It's
just
yeah.
all the time.
You see, never mind. I was going to draw that conversation out further, but never mind.
Let's jump back into our fiction, and like zoom in on. So it's evening. It's like in the grey of the evening. So the sun has set recently. If you have a look on our map, I think this is the building that. Oh man, yellow? Why am I yellow? Gosh, no, you can't see that. Here we go. Yeah, that's the one. So this is the building I think that Dracon Poulos has, like, that's his family home. So I think we see it with torches, like outdoor like torches for lighting. I think we see people going around in like silk versions of the chitin that is like going around doing serving and things like that, to show that like Bulos has like access to these very exotic goods.
Is it beaded intricately with like tiny little painted like shells?
I mean, it's got to be. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're going around with like a mix of like traditional foods, but also like exotic foods from like on campaign and things like that. And this is all like out on the southern side, and I think we see the group of you approaching from the northern side of the house towards like the is it like a herald, like a there is a person there who is a servant to like greet and announce and check in and all of these sorts of things and check invitations. What, so as you're like walking up the I think the main street itself is lit by like glass orbs that have like just flame like circling around inside them. Like the essence of flame is like captured in this glass to light the streets. And I think we see the four of you approaching this building that has the sounds of like laughter and music coming from inside and out the back and all of those sorts of things. What do you look like in this moment as you approach?
For me, it's important for a sort of cinematic purposes that Shadi is entirely like shaded at this moment, so that she can have her sort of Cinderella moment where I describe her appearance when we actually get into the ball. So she is, the way the shadows are casting, she clearly has her arm in Rice's arm, but like she is just cast in shadow as we approach right now.
I mean, it's evening. It's probably a little bit cool. Are you wearing like a shawl thing so that you can have the like dramatic?
Yeah.
There's definitely an over shawl.
Yeah.
That is concealing her, not her identity, but her attire.
Awesome.
I have a question and then a description.
Yeah.
So how difficult would it be, do you think?
How many dice?
To just steal one of those orbs full of the essence of fire on our way. And just secret it away in my clothing. So that later I could maybe use it as a weapon on someone.
So, like, I'm imagining, like, volleyball size?
Okay, no, that's quite large.
Don't steal a lamppost.
All right.
I mean, I imagine that like teenagers and children steal them all the time for giggles, right? Like that's definitely a thing. But like they are volleyball sized, right? Like or like
they steal them and take them back to their dorm rooms and laugh about.
Yeah.
I have also stolen a street sign when I was young, and then realized.
Sean, I'm scandalized.
Yes, well. And then you get them home and you're like, these are huge.
Yeah.
When you're driving, they don't look that big, but when you actually have one, you're like,
yeah,
monstrous.
Yeah. Did you not have like a room full of like stolen street signs and like bollards and things, Luke? Was that another thing? Did you not play bollard grabby? Where you lean out of the window of the car as it's driving to grab a bollard and steal it.
This must be a country thing because I did not.
All right, might be a South Australian thing. Bollard grabby.
I thought it was a college thing.
Yeah.
The Canberra equivalent of that was like cooking a wood-fired oven in the garden at my house. At least for me.
I don't think that's the Canberra thing. I think that's just the fact that you.
Yeah, that's just a you thing.
That might have just been my teenage experience.
Yeah.
Anyway, Carrick's is in servant's attire, and is dressed very strategically, and is like walking in such a posture as to like emphasize their largeness, and make it look like it's like paunch and fat rather than like muscle. And so like they're walking with like slumped shoulders. And like they've like lowered their center of gravity ever so slightly, and like the clothes are like a bit too big on them, and maybe are like stuffed a little to create a bit of a like fake belly. And I think they've got like a little bit of makeup on their face, or maybe it's just like ash from the fire. Like I'm not sure, we can tell, but that makes them also look like a little older and more haggard. And so yeah, like Carrick's just looks like an old beaten down servant.
Cool. Like it.
And it's like carrying a thing for Shardy. I don't know what the thing is, but like a thing.
Shardy definitely has things.
Yeah.
What?
Right?
What does Pyros look like? I'm really interested.
I'm struggling with this because he doesn't really have any business being along. Like,
yeah.
How could we even remotely begin to justify his presence here?
The justification of Carrick's was that if Shoddy was still a person of prominence, which she's not, but if she was, which as far as Daikon knows her, he might still think she is, that it would be reasonable for her to have servants that are attending. Or, alternatively, that Rise, as an unknown person, but a citizen, might have servants. So,
yeah,
but
I think
I'm someone's servant who has one leg, you know, like...
I mean, I feel like within the like role in society we've identified for like disabled military veterans, I feel like the idea of part of their humiliation in order to receive care being like to be the servants of like ranking military officers, that feels like totally consistent.
I mean, like,
right, that's
like
good and fucked
Pyros as Rise's assistant and Carrick's as Shardy's is
right. Like
awful.
There it is. Okay, great. We got there.
Gross.
So, he is...
Can we flip a momentum over? Because I feel like I made it sad.
I think that was pretty gross.
Yeah, flip one.
Goes above and beyond. I'm not just showing up. Also, Rise is wearing my fucking dress uniform from when I was like.
A lot of this is pretty twisted.
Yeah. It's sad. Rise has the pretty lady on their arm.
Mm-hmm.
And like the pretty lady who you like
Have
you
actual
and like,
feeling.
oh man, there's a lot of like, this is a lot.
Yeah,
It's a lot. Yeah, we set this up so that it would be super
the worst.
gut wrenching for Pyros, and I'm into it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yep. Did you
Pyros is like struggling to carry Rise's satchel or something. Like he has some thing he has to carry, and it's like a total struggle because he only has one arm and like needs to have that one arm on a crutch.
Yeah.
And then still carry this thing.
Yeah. I'm curious, Andrew, like, and I imagine that like a conversation was had about this. Like, is Pyros okay with Carrick's like surreptitiously lending a hand, or is Pyros insisting on doing it like himself?
I'm sorry, I am way too proud for that shit.
I just wanted to check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are not getting help from anyone here.
I just wanted to check.
What does Rise look like?
Andrew is
then?
playing a thorn bush described as a person.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. What does Rise look like?
I feel like we've had description of Rise before. Dressed up, dashingly in the military uniform. Their hair is like, although it's long, it's like put up into a bun almost, and like perfectly coiffed. Is that the right word?
Quiffed. Like coiffed, not drunk.
Yeah. Coiffed? I don't know.
Yeah.
Coiffed, yeah.
That's the one. And yeah, I think probably some of the reason we don't immediately see Shoddy's dress and everything is that like the camera comes down and it's like Rise is the one in the light. And so like Shoddy on their arm is like a little bit behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. So I think, yeah, you approach the like front doors, and like, yes, there have been all of these like grand like lace work, like bunting. There's all like intricate lace work that has been hung all over the front of the house, and I think probably there's like big like reams of silk or similar, just hanging over sections of the house to make it look again more exotic than the harsh lines of Republic architecture. And so yeah, we see you approach, and one of the servants is 100% got like the servant that approaches you is 100% like wearing like has had their skin darkened with lacquer or something to like or like boot black or something, so that they can look more like they're from strange lands, and they're wearing some ridiculous like pantomime of like foreign garb. And yeah, they come up to you, and like they're clearly like so embarrassed to be like presented as they are, and yeah, this servant comes up to you and is like, it's like, honorable guests, welcome to the home of Drakenpulos. Can I please introduce you? If you have an invitation, I would be happy to let the party know that you have arrived. And you can see he's doing his best to be like proper and formal in the traditional way, despite what he's having to wear. And yeah, he's like, how should I introduce you?
I think the invitation itself is to Shoddy, Dominus, and guests, or something like that,
Yes,
or
it
to
is,
that,
yeah.
or it may even be to like the House of Dominus or something like that. It might be more vague than that.
Yeah.
But I think as long as you kind of like, we have the invitation,
You have the
can
invitation,
probably,
so it's fine.
yeah, you could probably ask to be introduced in any way. So
Yeah.
Shadi
Yeah.
would prefer to Rise in this.
Yeah, I think Rise produces the invitation and like sets it in the servant's hand and is like, introduce us as Shoddy, Dominus, and guest. Like not giving their
Yeah,
name.
right. Excellent.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, I think the like tradition demands that like this person goes in and like you know, it says like it is my great pleasure to introduce to you, fair people, Shardy Dominus and her guest. And I think like at that point you're expected to like the doors come open, you walk in, Back in Black by AC/DC plays.
Right. That's when the theme music kicks in.
It's like a Greek cover, so it's like a cover on lyre and like flute.
Yes,
and
right.
panpipes. Right?
Thank you, Knight's Tale, where they're playing Queen.
Yeah.
During.
That's exactly the image I have in my head. Is like
Yes. Well, Kitters, the fact that you said "and guest" is particularly ironic because I was very much thinking of the ball in Firefly. Where they're introduced in the same way, in part because when Shadi sort of pulls off the shawl and the overcoat, what we see is her hair in ringlets done very much like Inara's, if we're considering, and her dress, which is blue fabric with gold. Which is blue fabric with gold designs through it, has this incredibly and impossible like deep V cut of like the gold that kind of has this golden thread fastening and just sort of barely keeping it together. It looks like the kind of thing that could like fall apart, but of course it's like massively constructed, so it's not going to slide off or anything like that. But it has this like almost to the navel, sort of ridiculous, but it has all this boning to hold to keep the structure as well. And her hair is similarly done up with a sort of like golden thread work that keeps all the ringlets as magnificently coiffed as Rises are. They match very well in that regard. And her shoulders are bare. You know, it's like it sort of cuts off from her shoulders, and the though I think current fashion may be a sort of a fuller dress. It's in fact sort of very slim line, and as she moves, it sort of whisks along with her. And I think for just a moment, or perhaps some time, perhaps more than a moment, people may be enchanted as a reminder of Shadi might stand out as a striking figure. For a moment. In fact, I would like to make a strong impression on this. Like
I was gonna say, roll flashy. No, not that.
Flashy, yes. Thank you. That is exactly.
Yeah, it sounds like you're like either striking or building, which are often the two that are like tricky to discern between. Like you're either like striking at the like at the party itself, or you're building something that you can like you're building the like the talk about you and the attention on you. Whereas striking at the party,
it
is
feels
like,
more. It feels more like the second.
Yeah, I feel like that's where we're at.
Yeah, there's an angle that I could go for, which is like I want to disrupt everything that's happening. Like I want everyone, like someone to spill their drinks, and I want someone to like.
That's the thing is are you disruptive, or are you like, or are you
seductive,
making yourself part of the party, right? Like making yourself a thing.
And that it's very much the second. I do hope that someone like accidentally spills something on themselves. But more importantly, I want when the next guest is announced for people still to be thinking about Shadi and Rise. Right? Like we're not just passing on and so yeah, I would definitely like to build people's interest in the two of us.
Yeah, cool.
And I don't know, like Kidders, how like comfortable Rise feel like being in the spotlight or not? Like, are you like happy to be standing there in like as well, or are you? Yeah,
I feel like we have seen that Rise is has not shied away from the spotlight. I don't think that they would not shy away from it.
Cool. Excellent.
Awesome. So let's think about factors that are acting against you here. I don't think there's a lot. I feel like we start with one. I feel like there's one for the fact that the party is already going, but I'm having trouble coming up with another one, so I think it might only need two. Right?
Cool. I have one to suggest.
As a factor? Yeah?
Yeah, because honesty demands that we consider the full range of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do believe that we established a certain attractive young woman from a very prominent noble family who probably has access to finer fashion.
Yeah,
somebody
right.
else
does
already
would be here at the party tonight.
Right.
Yep. All right. Cool.
Yep.
That brings us up to three.
And I'm gonna make it bad to flip a token, and I think part of this is people being gross and shitty about the fact that Shadi is recognizably from a different physical place, and is of a different ethnic background other than the one that is traditionally conceptualized as attractive.
Shadi's a woman of color and everybody here is white, right? That's yeah.
Yep. Cool. All right. One, Luke.
I think that makes total sense. It's going to make it even better when we succeed.
Yeah, that brings us up to three.
It's not possible to flip another token, is it, in a scene?
I mean,
okay.
Depends.
But you can still make it sadder. You can still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say there's definitely also whispers of you see she has Rise that man on her arm, but this other woman that man was just out with this other woman and all of that.
I don't
because
think
last time there
I don't think that's in play yet.
Okay.
Don't think.
Okay. Ash wants to hold on to that.
Oh yeah. Don't worry, it's coming.
That's a thing. That's a thing for chat's sake. We didn't talk about that in the recap. Rise walking this young woman home after she'd just been seen out with another young man was the thing that has done some damage to substantive damage to her reputation and also a little bit to Rise.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was the gross thing that happened.
I think we will see that in a minute.
Yeah, though that was something Rise avoided, right? Rise was going to get trapped into that. The merchant was you there, and Rise was nope.
Yeah, exactly.
And got away from the brunt.
You were successful in avoiding that issue. So
that is true. Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I would like to use Self and Earth to try and build this. I think Self is good at build. I don't know why I can't.
Are you bending?
No.
You're a woman.
Actually, I'm gonna bend.
Okay.
Ooh.
I'm gonna Blades in the Dark this shit. I would like to flash back to before we left the tavern, the restaurant, where I think Carrick's did some spooky bending witchcraft on the dress itself to give it something of this nature. Because I think Carrick's, I feel we were a little bit meth about this, right? Carrick's is the one who prepared the dress and made sure it was clean and polished all the buttons really nicely and laid it out ready for Shadi to get changed into it to start adopting this character. And while they were doing all of that work, they were talking to the dress and telling it a story about a goddess from their homeland who was the goddess of the evening star, the most beautiful goddess of all, who wore a robe woven out of the Milky Way that shimmered so brightly it attracted the attention of all who stood before it. And Carrick's is basically trying to magic the dress so that it will have a spirit bent quality to it that attracts people's attention and does this kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm happy for that to count as an assist on this roll.
Cool.
I think the way that might manifest is that when it is divested of the shawl that was holding it down,
it
the dress
There's like a light effect.
Yeah, it has a light effect itself, and I feel like some of the outer layers, because I think it's a multiple layered thing, like the outer silken layers kind of are like wafting through the air, even though there's not a draft. Like they have a little,
And they catch the light in like a certain, and like diffuse it in a certain way.
I think very much like
It's that thing with the elves in Lord of the Rings where they're always slightly glowing.
Yeah.
Right, like it's that effect. Yeah.
So we've gone from the food channel to the fashion show.
I'm so about it.
Yeah, this is actually just an episode of Queer Eye.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to do the culture segment, and we're going to deliver some positive self-affirmation.
Yep. All right. So your to hit is 3. Your obstacle, your number of successes needed, because apparently when I write games, I like write things out in like the fullest form all the time.
Can you? I swear I can't ever seem to keep track of this, but could you link the Google Doc? Because I thought I had it.
Yep,
or is it in the handout with the It's not in the handout.
I'll link you the Google the
cool. Just want to make sure I remember. I think Self was decent at building, but I don't.
Yeah, I'll link it for you. Give me a second. I'll give you the fancy version.
And I feel like I'm tending.
Let's check that. I'm gonna just chuck this in the Zoom chat for you.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Oh gosh, it lagged up a bit there. All right, that's in the Zoom chat for you. Let's have a look down here at what tending is, because I'm not sure that I heal, soothe, or nurture. It sounds like you're going.
I'm nurturing the dress, right? Like this is a dress very clearly made to make a person look like and feel beautiful, and I am encouraging that quality in it.
Yep, I'll allow it.
And also just like the way that Carax is doing this, right? Like Carax is talking to the dress, right?
Yeah, the way that you were doing it is the thing that's selling it for me here. So yeah. Cool. So if you were looking at that, you wanted the numbers, didn't you? So
I did. I found the numbers. I want to remember. Self is D10 or D12 or D20.
Self is D12.
D12. Okay.
Water is D20.
There we go.
Yeah, while my computer is loading it, could someone look up for me how is Self at tend?
Not awful. About 50.
Self is pretty good at tend. Yeah, it hits on a 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 7 out of 12.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Just over 50.
Yeah, so I'm gonna bend one Self and do just one water normally.
Cool. Sounds good. I'm really interested, what is the... Yeah, it's your speech is the bending of yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's that thing, like with Carax, it's all, like self-bending, is always like storytelling and like weird shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go ahead and roll.
Yep.
And I'm gonna use... Alright, so I lose an earth, but I got on Self, and I'm going to use my armament of the dress because that's clearly...
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
I think that's super applicable. And the dress does not succeed.
Hit.
So I have two successes.
Yep.
One from the Fates and one...
Yep, and
I just got 3.
Yep.
The fate.
The fates aren't for you. Luke,
right, the fates only apply once per roll.
Yeah.
But still, it's 4.
So we got 4.
We're up to 4 out of 3, so that's fine.
And
someone
my earth
definitely
is gone.
spills something on themselves. That's
Nice.
Yeah,
I surreptitiously high five.
The thing is that the AC/DC cover on lyre and panpipes is like playing, and all of the like chatter in the room is kind of stopped, and like everyone just kind of like looks for a moment, and then and yeah, I think a young gentleman who has aged too quickly. I think he's like in his like mid-20s and has like immediately put on like a paunch and like started losing his and like lost most of his hair. Is trying desperately to talk to Jasmine, to Jasmine Logos, and like he's the one person still talking because he hasn't like noticed, and then he like catches Jasmine's eye, and she like looks over, and she's like looking at Rice specifically, and he like looks over and sees Shardy in this dress and just spills like his and I think he just like drops his glass onto himself and is like oh god, and like or whatever it is he's drinking out of, because do we think they have, no, they definitely have glass because we established that. So yeah, he like drops this glass onto himself and it like bounces off him and he tries to like to like catch it, and then it like clatters to the floor and yeah, and I think yeah, so you've definitely like made an entrance, but I think in response to that, yeah, Jasmine Logos, who was the last person to come in and be introduced, and like tried to pull the same move so that like she would be like remembered for longer, laughs genteelly about like, oh my, this poor person who was trying to impress me has like, oh, like what a funny thing that has happened. Someone has spilled a drink. Oh my. And like
oh, look at this other thing. Look at this other interesting
she's pulling
thing.
pulling it, trying to, like,
and
pull
that's
it
totally
back
fine,
towards
because I think when the glass shatters, that's when Shadi is like content to like, yeah, Shadi's content to like walk amongst, you know, like step off from like the podium or step off from like the entrance and down into like the where people are.
Yeah, cool. And
I'm going to take an armament for that of
totally. Yep.
Strong impression,
or yeah, like grand entrance or whatever.
Yeah, grand entrance. That's perfect.
Yeah, and yeah, we totally see Jasmine like re-engaging with like the group of people that she was speaking to now that like this poor young man has like basically had to excuse himself, and like she's just glancing occasionally back towards the group of you, being like, what's going on over there? You know, just, and it's very, very obvious that she's in her element, and wants, and like, believes herself to be in a sort of position of control, not dominance, but like, she knows how to steer this place to her.
Sure.
Ends.
Yeah.
Whereas, like,
this
like,
is the sea, and
contrast,
she is a fish.
Yeah, well, compare and contrast to how out of place she felt in the soup kitchen, right? Like, yeah, that's definitely an element that's at play here. I think this is a good place to take our first break,
Cool.
so that we can come back into come back in and see what y'all are doing party wise. I think we'll break on like Dracon Pulos being like, Shardy, like, you know, coming in through the door and like holding his arms wide and like laughing, and it has been too long, and then we'll
My
break
dear.
on that. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, we'll be back in a minute. See you soon,
Awesome.
chat.